Thank you, Chairman Weber. Good morning to the panel. My name is Neil Dunn. I'm a medical doctor, recently turned congressman from Florida. So the chance to listen to so many great scientists is a real pleasure for me. This is my only dose of science I get, really, up here in Washington, so thank you very much. In our district, we have Florida State University, one of the preeminent research universities in the country. We have a new materials science and engineering program there. It's rather large, but perhaps most famously includes the National High Field Magnetic Lab. I suspect maybe you've collaborated with them from time to time, and I'd like you to keep that in mind as I make the comments and ask my questions. I'd like to start with Dr. Higgs. First, Dr. Higgs, I want to encourage you to think of your sojourn in Texas as temporary. I know that
the gentleman's time has expired.
The sugar white sands are calling to you even as we speak. I know. So you actually said something very important, especially in this time of compressed budgets, and it was about the university IP. So historically, I think universities, as you say, they turn money into knowledge, and they may spend $100 million in a year, and then on royalties, they'll get $1 million back. Well, that's a very poor return on investment. I think we all recognize that. Now, there's many universities, I'm sure some of the leading ones that you deal with have adopted newer techniques, but it's important, I think, that we push this out into the labs as well, these partnerships, because you're right. Your faculty and your postgrad students take with them IP into the private sector, and they try to monetize that. And I think we can keep them in the faculty, keep them in the labs, your labs, if we share the IP, the ownership of the IP, in a more intelligent fashion. I think you're doing that. Am I right? Answer that, Dr. Higgs. It sounded like you had some familiarity with how to parcel out the IP, the rights to the IP, so that you kept the talent and the ideas still got to market.
Right. So good question. So first of all, I want to say I'm originally from Tallahassee, Florida, so your district, and I did participate in pre-college engineering programs that motivated me to pursue a PhD in mechanical engineering. It was at the Florida State University and Florida A&M University Minority Introduction to Engineering.
Come on back, the water's fine.
Right. Right. It was at this program where I had the sophistication to realize that a terminal degree was the way to go. So I thank your district for supporting young dreamers like me. Certainly, we have a responsibility to our employer, the university, that whenever we generate an idea, that the idea belongs to them because of the Bayh-Dole Act. But we are really most interested in working in basic science, but we live in a capitalistic society, so these things have to be funded. And you're right, so companies fund us and we do the research. The companies will ultimately get our students there. The IP that's in the university, the whole goal of it is to actually get into the market to help.
Chairman Weber's going to cut us off quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that I encourage all of you to think of those public-private partnerships and really helps monetize your lab, or monetize the ideas, but also keep the people in your lab where you want them. Dr. Schwartz, regarding your caloric material on refrigeration, you have a cooling source. We have in Tallahassee a company that manufactures a frictionless bearing. It's a magnetic bearing, no lubrication, and they turn in 20–25% savings on industrial HVAC units. I think, we've got a marriage here. I'm playing matchmaker. Okay. So I think you put those two things together, somebody to move the fluid or the air in Tallahassee. In fact, my staff will no doubt share with you the name of that company so that you can work with them. In the 30 seconds remaining to me, Dr. Locascio, how do you define success when you're looking at grant applications? What makes you define a great grant?
So we go through a peer review process for all of our grants. It's a very well-structured process, and it's pretty common across all
There's
of
no hook right now in your mind in a low monetary, in a budget kind of finance. What do you do? What are you looking for?
Oh, how are we pursuing grants? Are we going to continue to pursue
Well,
grants?
our time expired, but I've already tested the chairman's patience. So
No, that's right. Go ahead. I'm interested in her answer.
So we will continue to put out grants to universities. We have had, obviously, we've had very hard decisions to make as well with regard to the budget. But one of the things that we've thought about is really protecting the future. And protecting the future means also protecting our abilities to do the greatest advances in measurement science that you can possibly do. And that honestly requires the universities. We have to collaborate with the smartest minds in the United States and pair them with the smartest minds in the federal government, and we do that to great benefit. So we'll continue to put out
thank you very
grants.
much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You betcha.